But it's not really true that the internet is purely an American development. In fact, even from its earliest beginnings, there were interactions among many parties in Europe and the U.S., principally through something called the International Network Working Group, which was established in 1972, the year before Bob Kahn and I did the basic design of the internet. Nonetheless, the language of discourse during the development of the internet was indeed English. And the software implementations and the like, and all of the interactive material used English as a basic language because the bulk of the users, in fact, were English-speaking.
The internet in many ways gives an advantage to speakers of smaller, minor, sometimes national or regional languages, gives them a greater advantage than it gives to English in certain ways. Think of it this way, that I, as a speaker of American English, can go to Paris or to Rome or to Dakar and find newspapers in my own language that report my own news, probably find CNN on a hotel TV, where a speaker of French doesn't have that advantage when he or she comes to San Francisco. Perhaps you can find a French language newspaper in a few international newsstands, but it's difficult and there's no French language TV. And speakers of less important languages like Greek or Hindi or Swahili are utterly unable to find materials in those languages. But now with the internet, a Frenchman who lives in San Francisco can have access to not just Le Monde or Libération or one of the important national newspapers, but perhaps to the paper from Alsace or Grenoble or wherever he lives.
My father-in-law was recently visiting in the U.S. and he's used to reading his Gujarat Samachar every morning. You know, he's used to reading an ethnic newspaper. And today, every morning, my brother-in-law will just print out the newspaper from on the web and give it to him. You know, so he does not miss his country-specific need while he's in India or while he's in the U.S. So I think the web enables a lot of those opportunities to the people.
One area where there is an awkwardness is in actually entering text into an interactive web page, for example, because so many keyboards are designed for English, but not necessarily designed for other languages. So you find personal computers and desktop computers whose keyboards are oriented around English language. For some languages that use the Roman character sets, you will find specialized keyboards in Germany and France, to give an example. But when it comes to Chinese or kanji in Japan, or Urdu or other character sets, sometimes you don't find these keyboards that have been laid out, and you have very artificial ways of entering these other alternative languages.
You can see the keyboard is all in English letters, but as we're going to type our Chinese characters, we still use the same keyboard, but there is a software can convert the English letters to Chinese Mandarin characters.
You have to enter a phonetic string, and the computer will present a possible interpretation in the other character set, and then you have to hit the space bar to step through what the possibilities are. It is faster by keyboard than it is to draw the characters, because you type in a phonetic string, and then if that's not the character you want, you hit the space bar and it cycles through the several characters that could be represented by that phonetic string, and you get it very quickly. There's a concern that many people have expressed that the internet somehow homogenizes everything, and in particular somehow sprays English paint all over everywhere. And I don't think that that's necessarily the right conclusion. I see a great deal of preservation of culture, including language, through the internet. And in fact, one might even argue that it is not necessary that the language have a written form, because the internet's capable of delivering images and sound in addition to text. So one could easily argue that if the effort is made to preserve languages by putting information onto the net, one might preserve spoken as well as written languages that way.